Once upon a time, in a remote village nestled in the heart of the East, there lived a young girl named Aku. Aku was no ordinary girl. She was blind, her world shrouded in darkness since birth. She lived on the edge of the village with her older sister, Udo, and their mother, Unzubi. But Aku's life was far from easy. Her mother and sister saw her blindness as a curse, a burden they had no patience for. They lived their lives as if she didn't exist, leaving Aku to fend for herself in a world she couldn't see. Despite her challenges, Aku was resilient. She taught herself to cook, clean, and even navigate the bustling local market. Every day, she would carefully feel her way through the village, her hands brushing against familiar walls and pathways to buy food and prepare meals. But when her mother and sister returned from their outings, they would greedily devour the food Aku had prepared, never once asking if she had eaten. To them, Aku was invisible, a ghost in their home. But Aku had a dream so vivid, so powerful, that it kept her going even on the darkest days. She had heard whispers of a legendary medicine man in a distant village, a healer who could restore sight to the blind. The treatment was costly, but Aku was determined. She began braiding hair for the women in the village, her fingers weaving intricate patterns despite her blindness. Day after day, she worked tirelessly, saving every coin she earned in a small wooden box hidden beneath her bed. The box became her hope, her lifeline. Every time she added a coin, she imagined the day she would finally see the world. The vibrant colors, the faces of the people around her, the beauty of the village she had only ever felt. The thought filled her with joy and determination, pushing her to work harder, even when her back ached and her hands grew sore. But one day, tragedy struck. Udo, her sister, stumbled upon Aku's hidden savings. Greed flickered in her eyes as she counted the coins. Without a second thought, she took the money and spent it on new shoes, bags and clothes, flaunting her purchases without a hint of guilt. Aku only discovered the theft days later when she opened her box to add more coins. It was empty. Her heart shattered. "Udo," she cried, her voice trembling with anger and despair. "Did you take my money?" Udo sneered, brushing her off. "What's your problem? Stop bothering me." Aku's mind raced. She remembered Udo's new possessions and realized the truth. Her own sister had stolen her dreams. Tears streamed down her face as she whispered, "What have I done to deserve this? Why does my own flesh and blood treat me this way?" But Aku was not one to give up. With a heavy heart, she started over, saving every coin she earned, determined to rebuild her dream. One fateful day, as Aku made her way to the stream to fetch water, Udo followed her, her heart filled with malice. As Aku bent down to fill her bucket, Udo pushed her into the water. Aku flailed, her cries swallowed by the rushing stream. She couldn't swim, and the water dragged her down, deeper and deeper, until everything went black. Udo returned home, her face a mask of indifference. She took the rest of Aku's savings and pretended not to know where her sister had gone. Days turned into weeks, and no one in the village seemed to care about Aku's disappearance. Unzubi, their mother, assumed Aku had run away and didn't bother to look for her. Only Udo knew the truth, and she carried the secret like a stone in her chest. But Aku's story didn't end there. Miraculously, she was saved by a kind stranger, a man who pulled her from the water and carried her to his hut. As she regained consciousness, she realized the man was no ordinary villager. He was the legendary medicine man she had heard about, the one who could heal the blind. Moved by her story, he restored her sight free of charge. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Aku begged to stay, and learn from him. For years, she studied under his guidance, mastering the art of healing. Meanwhile, Udo's life took a dark turn. She was struck by a mysterious illness that no local healer could cure. Desperate, Unzubi took her to the legendary medicine man in the distant village. When they arrived, they were greeted by a crowd of people waiting for the healer. As they stepped into the hut, their jaws dropped in shock. The healer was Aku. Aku, Unzubi gasped, her voice trembling. Is that you? You can see? Aku's eyes filled with tears as she recognized her mother and sister. She told them her story, how Udo had pushed her into the stream, how the medicine man had saved her, and how she had learned to heal others. Udo and Unzubi broke down, their guilt and shame overwhelming them. They begged for forgiveness, their tears falling like rain. Aku, her heart still kind and forgiving, healed Udo without hesitation. She didn't ask for payment or revenge. She simply said, "Go home and live better lives."
Treat others with the kindness you denied me. The family returned to their village, forever changed. They vowed to be better, to care for one another, and to never let greed or cruelty rule their hearts again. The lesson of this story is clear. Treat others with kindness and respect. Never take what isn't yours, and always remember that your actions have consequences. Aku's strength, forgiveness, and resilience remind us that even in the face of darkness, light can prevail.